We're only in day 2 of the game being out, and this TIE Interceptor build has already won me over as my clear favorite. Capable of non-stop offensive pressure and the ability to pull ridiculous escapes out of nowhere, it's honestly difficult to peel myself away from playing the game right now to make this guide. Still, I want to share this feeling with the rest of you, so let's jump into this build on maximizing your time in this monster of a ship. For the weapon, I started using Plasburst cannon, and the idea of using anything else seems insane now. Instead of telling you why the Plasburst is insane, first I want to show you this clip. As you can see, the Plasburst doesn't have to worry about running out of energy. This means that we can put constant pressure on as many pilots as we can aim at. All of our thought process when it comes to energy management suddenly just revolves around, do I want to do more damage, or do I want to move or turn faster? As you also saw, the Plasburst is capable of one-shotting an A-Wing from 100% health if you catch them with shields in the wrong direction. The range at 600 is exactly the same as the rapid-fire laser that most interceptors were already using, meaning that we're essentially gaining infinite weapon uptime at what the game claims is higher DPS with the exact same range. I also find it easier to use since we don't have to worry about accurately tracking targets over an extended period of time. Being more of a flick aimer from other games like Overwatch, this transition felt incredibly smooth to me. The repair system is absolutely critical for extending our longevity, as we're flying the ship with the lowest health in the game and no shielding. With quick reaction times and some good flying, you'll survive most attempts to kill you, but if you want to get back into the fight, the repair kit is essential to get us patched back up. The Stealth Auxiliary was a recent addition to the build, but has completely won me over with its incredible synergy on the Interceptor. Most people I see are using it incorrectly, trying to pop it when somebody locks a missile onto them. They completely disregard the part where people can still see them and shoot them with lasers just as easily. What makes this component shine is the TIE Interceptor itself. Our speed, acceleration, and ability to get a full bar of boost on command allows us to start juking violently with drift chains. Break their sightline either by drifting off of their screen or by flying behind an object where they can't see us and changing directions, and we can disappear entirely. Not only that, but we get the opportunity to be able to turn the hunter into the hunted. I lost him completely. Yeah, totally works. Yeah, let's see if we can get it back. And this has worked for me every single time I've tried it so far. Once I break sightline and pop stealth, I've never had a player pick me back up yet. And once I started using the tactic of getting behind them while I'm invisible, I've gotten the kill on them every single time. Ignoring every other aspect of the TIE Interceptor I'm already in love with, this alone has already added a completely new element to the game for me. There's actually a special side effect that comes with bringing this component build as well, and it's maybe the most terrifying aspect of all. This build has no lock-on weapons. This means that when I get behind someone, they get no alarm that goes off with a warning. The only indication they get that I'm trying to kill them is that they start getting huge chunks of health ripped off of their ship. For countermeasures, I just went with the default starting option, as they have the lowest cooldown and the highest number of charges. I'm just looking for best possible uptime and most possible uses here. The missile corruption sounds fun and did work, but against better opponents, a cooldown window that long was extremely noticeable. For hull, I'm also using the default starting option. Most of these options have a trade-off that I'm just not willing to take. The Cyanar Reflect hull has an incredibly tempting passive tied to it, but the idea of taking the easiest to kill ship in the game and removing another 30% health is suicidal. You're basically an unshielded A-Wing at that point, and that's an incredibly rough place to be. Still, a conditional permanent stealth is an incredible add, and as I get better at the game, I might find myself coming back to it. The other option that might be interesting is the extended lock-on time at the trade-off of 10% health. This is a far lower penalty with some decent utility. Personally, I don't find myself struggling against missiles that often, so I'd rather just take the raw health stats. For engine, I've been using the acceleration variant so far, and I'm loving the speed at which I can come to a complete halt, and then immediately go back to max speed. The maneuverability hit is noticeable, but hasn't drastically affected my performance, so the trade-off is largely ignorable. I wouldn't be surprised if this engine has a bit of a training wheels aspect to it, and the meta might shift towards forcing you onto needing the extra turn rate. Good boost management would help overcome the max speed penalty, so it's worth keeping an eye on this one. Still, being able to brake to a halt next to obstacles or debris from max speed has thrown off so many people for me already, it's gonna be tough trying to put this engine aside. So that's it. As long as you're quick on the draw to shift emergency power into engines the moment you start taking heat, it's insanely difficult for somebody to kill you. With the tools in this build to disengage, heal up, and dish out non-stop damage, I haven't found a dogfight I wasn't equipped to handle yet. Get on out there, and happy intercepting.